nice for it. Sounds like you need to start more. That'd be done. Amen.
Call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hey, you all had a chance to look over the minutes from our last meeting.
I'll move to approve as presented.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Pelton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Olson. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, approval of agenda. We have that before us. Okay, anything to add, Commissioner Heiser?
No.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes, I'd like to add a discussion about landowner relations. And I'd like to bring up the topic of Scott Weiss and the road that, or the dirt that was put on the county road off of his land there.
Commissioner Pelton?
No.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
No.
Okay, and I have nothing. Guess I look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Heiser. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we'll get started with road department engineer reports. Who's up there? Civil science, Carl?
Good morning. Morning, Carl.
Morning, Carl.
Be brief for you guys today. 86th Avenue and 92nd Avenue are still about the same status it's been for a little while here. I do anticipate 92nd Avenue going out to bid this spring. We are working through some final easement negotiations on that project. So 100th Avenue Southwest, that's pretty much been completed. We are finalizing the easements. I do have a tentative January bid opening for that project. Just got a few things to wrap up and we'll get that advertisement in.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Southwest or Northwest?
Northwest, you're right. Yeah. Yes. 12th Street, 16th Street, they're about in the same place as well. We are working on those permits. We do have a few cultural things that we're working through. I do anticipate getting through those at least on 12th Street. I do have some conversation with SHPO that needs to happen on the 16th Street one, just due to the nature of the site out on that one. Any questions so far? On the 2025 projects, we've completed all the field surveys on those. We are working through the grading designs on all three of the projects with good progress and evaluating our impacts to the environmentals. We do have review sets of plans ready for the 20th and 86th Avenue projects, and also working through the right-of-way plats. So fairly good progress on those as far as grading design and everything. The 2026 projects, we're working on some site investigations on those and sending out our landowner coordination letters. We'll begin survey on those in the next few weeks, as long as weather permits, which is looking okay for the most part. So any questions?
It's not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Hey, Darren.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Have some brief updates for you all as well. So starting with 2nd Street Northwest and 84th Avenue, we're still waiting to hear back from Grade Tech as whether they accept our final quantities. They did finish up the punch list items and Terry will have to schedule a final walkthrough just to make sure everything's acceptable. Once we get that, then we can finalize the project and release the retainage. Any questions on that? 2024 projects, again, 117th is finished. So for 14th, we sent a couple emails and tried calling Schwartz. Sounds like, I guess we can assume they're not going to try to get the box in yet this year. They'll probably wait until spring. I don't know if you recall, but they had a death of the guy that was their major box culvert installer. So I'm sure that factors in. But I'm anticipating that they'll be ready here next spring. So 119th, Sally, we just talked here this morning. Sounds like 10 o'clock on the 5th for the bid opening. For 99th, at the last commission meeting, as you recall, we talked about putting fill over the culturally sensitive areas. I've talked with Wade from Beaver Creek, and he is trying to get that pushed through for SHPO so we can get our core permit on that. Questions? Moving along, so for Manning, our water group is putting the exhibits together and trying to schedule, and we'll be trying to schedule a meeting with Holly and I'm assuming Joanne and Will. Probably next week, I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be taking vacation, so I'm guessing it'll be probably after the first of the year. So, questions on Manning? And then for 2025, again, we have all the survey collected and we're moving forward preliminary design on 7th and 3rd. Pretty short and sweet. Questions, comments?
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for another year. Got the chocolate and I'll put that in the back for lunch
Thank
here
you.
today. Thank you.
James?
Madam Chair, good morning. Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Try to keep it short as well. 109th, we do have some movement there. Have received negotiation signatures from 2 of the 4 businesses. Access agreement template from one of the remaining businesses has been reviewed and accepted, so we're waiting on a signature on their worksheet from them. Once the businesses comply, revisit the residents opposed to the project. Still targeting that bid opening date of February 19th in hopes that we can continue good communication with those individuals. 27th Street, final properties from which we need signatures have legally been split. Both parties are in favor of the project. New landowner is still reviewing the design with her attorney. Core approval is pending. That should come right after the first of the year, a core permit. Bid target is dependent on the final easement and core permitting. Any questions on those two? Okay, we'll move down to 82nd South segment. Plats will be finalized after the new year and we can begin securing easements for the project. Core has finished their review and issued the 404 permit. Bid opening is still currently targeted for that second meeting in February. And on North segment, corridor design continues for this project with some challenges avoiding archaeological sites, forcing us to push the core application submittal date to after the new year. This may push our projected bid date to May of 2025. Questions on 82nd? Merry Christmas.
You too. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. I got a couple exhibits to pass out, and I should have emailed them sooner, but
Yep.
Okay, so got a couple design related items to discuss with you. First is along, 114th Avenue, north and west of New Raddick, south of Lynn Bollinger's place. We're trying to design the remainder of that project. There was a 7-mile project that was built this year. This is kind of the area from that project north to 19th Street. The exhibit, if you look at the smaller sheet, kind of right in the middle of the page, that yellow area, we believe that may be a slide. We're not saying it's a slide, but it looks awfully suspicious to us. So what we would like to do, or for your consideration, is to get a little geotechnical evaluation of that area, which we're hoping to get about 4 soil borings that would go roughly 50 feet. What that would hopefully do is tell us what type of soil that is and why it's potentially sliding. Once we know that failure mechanism, we can kind of figure out how much it would cost to fix. But right now, we don't know what's there. It may not be a slide, but it certainly looks like a slide. So what I'm asking is if it's in the budget to do some 4 borings, it's about $15,000, just some preliminary evaluation of it. Once again, there's going to be potentially some added cost to fix it, but this would identify the problem. Any questions on that? I mean,
So Jeremy, the 15,000 would be just to do, you said 4?
yeah, it'd be
For-
4 borings and monitoring the borings.
Would they do them right away?
Yeah, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think is where they're at as far as the timeline.
I think it'd be money well spent to try and get that road back on the section line, and at least once you do your core, you know if you've got a coal seam or water or what's actually moving in the corrective action to fix it.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to tell, but if you look at an area south of the slide, south of the yellow area, you can kind of see there's an old road there, or an old road bed. So at one point where the road is at now, it actually got moved over to the east. And I probably didn't explain it very well, but the black line is the section line is where we intend to build. So at one point, the previous road was in a slide and someone moved it over. Now the road now is in danger of sliding too. So I think there's something going on there.
Mr. Chairman, what's that going to, how big a hill is that there that's sliding, Jeremy?
Well, it's about 6 to 8 feet that have slumped off. It doesn't appear that's a very deep slide, but it slid, or it's dropped about 6 to 8 feet, it looks like.
So we got to cut that hill down quite a bit on the section line to get a road over there?
Right where the slide is at, there's not much of a hill there, actually. There is a bigger hill further to the south, but right in the vicinity of the slide, there's not much of a hill.
When we move that road over, is that hill going to slide back further to the south?
We don't think so. We think we can fix the slide, once again, depending on how deep it is. I mean, we might get the borings back and it could be 50 feet deep. Well, then we can kind of analyze that and say, well, to really fix a slide of that magnitude, it might be $500,000. And you guys might say, well, at that point, move the road over further to the east, perhaps. But without any borings, we're only speculating on really what's happening.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if we check that out, should we check it back further to the south too, in case that, I mean, how are you going to do it? You're just going to do the bores in the yellow part?
Nope, I think there's going to be 2 or 3 in the yellow part, and then there's going to be one south of there.
Okay.
How far south, I don't really know that, but we're trying to identify the limit. So within the yellow area is kind of the obvious slumping, but we want to identify north and south where the limits really are.
Okay, I guess that's what I was trying to ask.
Okay, yep.
It almost looks like, Jeremy, that if you look at where the existing road is now, looks like on the east, looks like there's almost like something on open up there too, maybe.
Yeah, there is kind of a hole on the east ditch, and I think that might temporarily hold water, and that's contributing to it, perhaps.
What are the board's wishes on this?
I think we ought to move ahead.
We need a motion.
Probably just part of his project.
Yeah. I think the consensus is just to go ahead with the soil borings.
Okay. Very
Thank
good.
you.
The other drawing, the bigger drawing, is on 105th Avenue, southeast of Manning. It's in Bob Dvorak's area, and as part of that project, we met with Bob a couple weeks ago, probably, and had a pretty good conversation. And I just want to try to show you guys on paper what that area looks like. One of Bob's wishes is if the county could put up a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in this vicinity. On the south side of his place is 21M, and then he's got several approaches, several buildings, and it's roughly 2,000 feet until you kind of get into the open areas. So he is requesting speed limit signs in that vicinity, and that's something that the commission has to set. That's something that I obviously can't do, but want to bring that up. That's one of his wishes. And you guys can count them too, but from 21M to kind of the end of his farmstead, I think there's about 13 approaches, and he uses both sides of the road as part of his ranching operation. So I think he's going back and forth quite a bit. I think we're going to be able to consolidate 1 or 2 approaches to try to limit the access points, but I think he's seeing high speeds of traffic going through there when he's moving cattle or moving his equipment from one side to the other. So I think that's what he's really looking for, is to slow people down. I think he does have some of his own signs that say slow down or something to that effect, but it's not a enforceable speed limit sign. So I think he's looking for a speed limit sign of 25.
So are you going to have enough room on there with the buildings to design that?
No, as is, no. That's kind of a separate discussion, which I'll bring up real soon. But I think the speed limit is one discussion, and then right in the middle there's that barn, and that is within the proposed easement. So we got to figure out what to do on that one also. And it's it's a usable building, use it for calving, but there's no way we can design around it if we build on the section line.
So Jeremy, if you change the speed limit at the intersection and go north, and then once you get north, is the speed limit 35, or will it be 35? Current speed limit now.
I believe it's 45.
45.
Yeah, it's an unposted road right now,
Unposted?
which goes by the state law then.
Usually it's 55 unless otherwise posted.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think there's speed limit signs of 45.
Is there?
Like south of 19th Street. I'm not entirely sure. We're designing it to be 45. But I think you're right, Al, unless it's not posted, it's 55. But I think there's 45 speed limit signs.
I just don't remember one coming off 21 M Street and turning on there, seeing one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's on like 23rd Street, maybe, further to the south. I'm not real sure on the existing speed limit. I could be wrong, but I think it's posted at 45.
So the request for 25 miles an hour by his place there is part of negotiating for easements, correct?
Yeah, he made it pretty clear that he really wants 25 mile an hour speed limit as part of the right-of-way negotiations. And, typically when we get a request to alter the speed limit, a lot of times there's a speed limit study done. We haven't done that. I don't think that's warranted in this case, but I think just the number of approaches has a bunch of conflicts with things. So, I can make the argument. I think it's justified for a couple thousand feet to be at 25, but once again, that's your decision to make.
I think in this case, it makes sense.
Yeah. Do you have a motion for that?
Yeah. Sure.
I'd move that we do the 2,000 feet at 25 mile an hour speed limit signs for this project.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Heiser. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So the other item we talked about with Bob when we met with him on the easements is it's kind of right in the middle of the page. There's the barn on the east side of the road. That's within the proposed easement, and we've talked with Bob of narrowing up the easement from the proposed or usual 60 foot to 40 feet, just because he's got corrals and fences and everything else in that area. And we've done that before next to people's farmsteads. But even at 40 feet, that barn is in the way. It's a usable barn. It's approximately 24 by 100, if I remember right. But it's in the way. I don't know if the county wants to hire an appraiser, because that's going to have to be relocated or rebuilt. And I think that's way above my pay grade to determine the value of a barn and the relocation of a barn.
Did you say 25 by 100?
24, 25 by 100. I think it's around 2,500 square foot.
So is it like a pole barn, or is it more of a?
Yep, it's a pole barn with corrugated steel siding on it.
All the way around, or just open for shelter?
It's open on one side. The east side is open. The north, south, and west is sided.
I think the backside's even partially buried, isn't it? Maybe.
It could be. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on it, but he does use it. It's not in the greatest condition. I think he would acknowledge it, but it is a usable building. So, I mean, I don't know what the value is. If it's a new building, it's $50,000 or something. Well, it's not a new building, but it's still a usable building.
Chairman, I wonder if we shouldn't maybe get a replacement price, and then at least we know what a new building costs and negotiate from there, because this building is no doubt depreciated out, so at least we know what kind of maybe a replacement cost would be.
Is it close enough that building's in the 33-foot easement that's currently in place, or is it outside of that?
No, part of it is within the existing easement of 33.
Okay, yeah, it looks awful close.
Yes.
Which it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right, and that
There's probably some corrals within the 33 feet too, huh?
there might be. So I know that complicates things too when it's in the existing easement.
It shapes this road in. Would it make more sense to just start this project 2,000 feet down the road and leave it as is? Or does that road need to be redone?
It's in the middle of the project.
It's in the middle of the project.
It's done over here.
Yeah, I mean, the improvements we're going to make in that area is raising the road up. The road gets a little bit wider, but there's really not any sight distance things that we're improving.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if there's a consideration of not doing anything in this area, I mean, that's an option too, but
Yeah, I don't know the area well, so that's up to you guys, I guess. But yeah, we're talking moving barns and doing all this extra stuff. Does it make more sense just to put a little extra gravel on the road there and make it a good passable road and leave that area as is?
yeah, I guess here's another, trying to play devil's advocate a little bit. You know, if that barn's within your right of way now, that's kind of a hazard right now.
Mhm.
So if you don't address it one way or the other, there's potentially some liability, I would think. I mean, if someone drives off the road, hits the barn that's in your easement now, I think that could be a problem for you.
Yeah.
I think we need to kind of look at what it might take to replace it and or move it, cost. You'd have to, it might take getting an appraiser, but I don't know if we have to go that far. I don't, so.
Their barn builders could give just an idea, like I said, and prorate it because this building is old and the leverage we'd have, it's in the right of way. So hopefully there could be some common ground met to make it happen.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I think a landowner's a little bit at fault by having his barn within the existing easement. But at the same time, it's a usable building that, to Al's point, is depreciated out, but it's still a usable building. And I think somehow we'll come up with a solution, but it's just a much bigger dollar value than I normally negotiate with. So,
Did he give you any ideas what he thinks this building is worth?
no, and
He hasn't thrown any numbers out yet.
no, and I kind of hinted at it if I could get a number, and he's keeping everything close to the vest, of course, but
I'd like to keep working on it and see what you can come up with, what it looks like.
sure. The other thing, which is sort of related, a little further north, I guess, kind of on the bottom image, there's another building that's dilapidated to the point where the roof has fallen in. What we've kind of decided there, because that's more of a windbreak, and that is outside the right of way, but not outside of the construction limits. We've kind of have an understanding, I guess. We got to still talk about numbers, but we're going to essentially move that building and create a windbreak out of it. So like the west wall and the north and the south would be removed. And then that west wall essentially gets rebuilt to where the east wall is. So that one is not a relocation. It's more of a dismantling venture, but we got to come up with a solution on that one too. But that one is not nearly the problem as the usable barn that he has. So,
Jeremy, I think that would be a good number that Bob could come up with, because I don't think we want to get involved with moving and trying to tear the old one down. I think it should be more of a fixed number. What's it going to take to move it?
Yeah, and what I talked to Bob about is I said, you know, it's outside the easement, and whether it's, and he kind of agrees that it can be removed, whether it's part of the road project, the county pays that, whether he does it, I think he could kind of be reimbursed for it, but either way, the county's paying for it. And it's not tens of thousands, at least my understanding is not tens of thousands of dollars. It's, you know, a couple days to take some tin off some and pull some poles out type of thing. So hopefully it's quite a bit less than $10,000 for that other building. So,
Madam Chair, if we get these buildings moved and everything, what is going to be our road width going through there? What's our right of way, I guess?
the proposed easement is 40 feet. Right now it's 33 feet. And when I say 40 feet, I'm saying 40 feet on each side of the section line. So 80-foot corridor where now it's 33 each side or 66 feet. Which, the county policy is 60 foot of easement on each side of the section line or 120 total. We're trying to narrow that up because, like I said, there's probably fences and some other things that are maybe within the 60, but not within the 40.
Doing 40, you wouldn't have to move corrals or anything then. Or would you?
I don't think so.
Pretty close.
Well, there might be some fences, 4-wire bar, but I don't think there's any corrals within the 40.
I guess go ahead and do it. And like David, I've never been down that road to this place. Go down and take a look at it. And next meeting, we'll have a little better idea of what you're talking about.
Okay.
That's my feeling.
I've been by it several times. Drive by video would sure be.
The 25 is, you got to drive that just to look around, don't you?
Yeah. But
So are we in agreement then just take a look at it?
I think you should negotiate and see what and come back with a number. This is what it's going to cost to replace and maybe negotiate on the building and to move that old building. And
okay. Does the commission want any replacement cost, or is that? I mean, I'm not saying that's the number, obviously, but once again, it's $50,000 for a. I'm just throwing out numbers, $50,000 replacement cost, and this is worth $10,000 or $5,000. Is that replacement cost any value to the commission to negotiate off of or not?
I think we should know that number because I'm sure he's going to want to know that number for negotiating.
And he might know that number.
And he might have it already too, but
okay.
Yeah, we should probably know that number just because.
Okay. Okay, I got some ideas then. Any questions on that project, I guess? The other update I had for the commission is on 103rd Avenue. Last meeting, we talked about getting the core permit and they were almost ready to issue it. And they have issued the permit pending mitigation of wetlands. And the 103rd Avenue project is from 7th Street to 11th Street. We've kind of negotiated down a little bit. Instead of roughly 0.4 acres, now they're down to 0.2 acres of wetlands to mitigate. And we always kind of look at the cost between mitigating on-site and just mitigating off-site, and mitigating off-site is just a one-time cost and then you're done with it. Whereas if you mitigate on-site, you have to build it, maintain it, monitor it for 4 to 6 years. What I would recommend on this site is mitigating off-site using the Ducks Unlimited Bank. There's a cost involved in that. It's roughly $85,000 an acre. So in this case, it would be $17,000 for the project, which I think the county is money ahead by using the off-site bank in this case. So I would recommend just mitigating off-site.
I would agree on that, Jeremy, because I've been down that road with making sure they grow back for years and years. You have to have somebody check it, and it's a cost every year. So this way, pay it up front, wash your hands, move on.
That's what I think of it. So.
That consensus? Or to go ahead with that off-site mitigation? So.
I'd move that we go ahead and okay the offsite for the wetlands on 103rd Avenue.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton to go ahead with the off-site mitigation. If 0.2 acres, is that right?
Yes, yeah. 0.2 acres.
On 103rd?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Heiser. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So those are my updates. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremy. Terry? Ding.
Guess we got up there. This is up going into the Little Missouri State Park. So the circle on the right-hand side, State Park closes the road right there for the season. The circle on the left, we'd like to actually move that closure up there, the seasonal closure, because everybody keeps driving down the road. It's stuck back in there. Landowner is constantly have to fix his fence.
So there's nothing in between right now.
No, just
For
the
off-season.
landowner that goes through
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And they'll have access through there. It'll just be.
Tom?
I've gotten a call, and I think Terry has too. These ConocoPhillips is hauling oil out of there. They had a pipeline that went down, and their GPS takes them that way, right to the park. And actually, when they get in the park, they can't go either because the park's got the gate shut on the other side. And they shut this one, is it about a month and a half ago, they closed their gate. And now these trucks, instead of coming down 104th, they're going down 103rd, and they get down there and there's no, when they got their gate, there's no approach or anything for them to turn around. So these truckers been just tearing everything up over there, trying to get turned around and get out of there. And we did put signs up on the road that no oil field traffic or
Signs up.
and they keep going through it anyway. So Tom asked, well, he asked me and then he asked Terry too, if we could just close that road off up above off 104th so that the traffic can't come down that way anymore. There's only two people that use that road in the wintertime, and it's Tom and my son's got cows back there. So they're constantly fixing the fence because that's the only way they can get turned around is drive through the fence.
Looks like it makes sense to me. If they do get down there, they can always turn around that location and get back out if we close it where he's proposing. I think that's a good idea.
Any other comments?
I'd move that we go ahead and move the closure up to the 104th on that road.
Okay. Motion to move the closure of the gate to, what is it, 104th?
104th and
Yeah.
10th Street.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Clayman. Any more discussion?
I guess one thing I'd like to put Craig's motion is when the park opens their gate, we open our gate.
That'll be temporary for this year.
Yeah.
Next year, we'll move that whole closure up there and just be done with it. Just have the one.
Okay.
Then move the cattle guard up to the.
Right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It's Terry. Any utility permits?
There's a
That's
couple permits here from Tesoro Pipeline. We recommend approval on them. There's a couple of conflicts with our engineers, but we're working together with them to get them taken care of. So that's going on 97th Avenue south of 200 there to a new, it's an 8-inch oil line.
So you recommend approval and
Yes.
You're just working out a few things with the engineers?
Yep.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the utility permits.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman to approve the utility permits,
Second.
second by Commissioner Olson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So sign these.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else, Terry?
Nope, that's all I got for
Okay.
today.
Thank you. 8. Few minutes here. David, you added discussion on landowner relations.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the topic. I've been getting a few phone calls because I'm the brand new guy, so they're calling to tell me about past stuff, and just seems like, so one of the examples I got was a few weeks ago on a Sunday afternoon, guy was working in the shop, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of guys out stomping around his field and putting flags in the ground, and went up there and talked to them, what's going on, and they said, well, they're the cultural survey crew for a road project that we're doing. And he's like, well, nobody told me they were coming. There's no easement sign. There's no nothing. And the survey crew's out there putting flags in the ground. And the reasoning that the guy got was that he got a letter in the mail, or actually his mom got a letter in the mail. They dual own the land. And it had been a year and a half ago, they got the letter that said they were going to come out there and survey. And there was no other contact since that time, he said. And all of a sudden these people are walking around his land. It just seems like, I think we can do better at communicating with these landowners, because it seems like there's a lot of landowner issues that's holding up some of these road projects we're trying to do. So I just wanted to open up the discussion to see how we can do better to communicate with our landowners, to let them know what we're trying to do to help these road projects move along, and to have better communication with them, I guess, and things like that. So any ideas out there, I guess, how we can do better?
I guess we'd have to work a little closer with the
Oh,
engineers.
Yeah,
I think it was on 103rd.
I think
That's one of Jeremy's.
Jeremy's project.
That was Jeremy's project.
Yeah.
And like the cultural surveys, is that a third party contractor comes in and does them?
Yeah.
Individual consultants. Backed up.
Have him go back to the mic so we can hear him.
Well, I want you up on the mic.
No, I was just saying that I think everybody tries to be pretty proactive, and I guess this one probably could have slipped through the cracks. While it wasn't my project specifically, I don't think I personally contacted every landowner myself.
Okay.
And Madam Chairman, I think you can vouch for that too. But everything's not perfect, and again, I'm speaking for somebody else, which isn't my position. But the other party, I think, is generally pretty responsible too. So it must have been just an accident. I'm not trying to apologize for anybody.
So I think maybe just as a good reminder, the engineers to talk to was it Carlson, or who does the ARCs?
For our stuff that we've been having recently, it's been Beaver Creek. I don't know who the other party used, but generally Wade Burns.
But yeah, just that the engineers make sure that they understand either the engineer themselves or the Beaver Creek get a hold of the landowners before they go out there.
Yes, ma'am.
I've thought long about this. I had also some concerns. I really think that it should be county representative road superintendent and the engineer, go to whoever the people is, sit down on a table across from them, find out if there's been any issues, and then just see what a guy can do, take a softer approach with it. Sometimes we probably send an engineer up. Maybe the landowner's got some issues. I really think our first contact should be a couple county representatives at their house or someplace with a cup of coffee and just find out what kind of issues there are. Sometimes we get down the road a long ways and maybe we could have warded some of them off. And then, apparently a year gone by, I think the initial contact should be, hey, we're going to have somebody here within a week or two. Like Darren said, we don't know when these sub-consultants get backed up, also they have to go, but I think we need to make a better effort to let people know when we're on their land, and I think that might kind of help.
Madam Chairman, excuse me, I go along with Al on that, and it actually wouldn't hurt if the commissioner was in that area, so you know the people, and I think they trust you a whole lot more if you say, well, yeah, we'll leave those trees for you. And they'll be a lot more reasonable about giving you the right of way. I do think that's probably a good idea. If you can get when you go talk to him, if you can get a commissioner to go with you, I think you'd have a lot easier.
Totally open to it. Doesn't have want.
And find out if there is any past issues and maybe we can work through them.
Speak for all consultants as well. I don't see anybody having an objection.
And speaking of trees, I guess our crew went out and cut some trees down around 103rd, and it sounds like they were all in the easement, but same thing, we didn't talk to the landowner and let them know what was happening, and it sounded like there were some pretty good trees, 12-inch round trees that we were cutting down on his right of way there, our right of way, I guess, but same thing, we should be talking to our landowners a little more and just letting them know that we're coming around out there and just be more open with them, I guess.
Can do.
Anything further for me?
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
So David, you brought up Scott Weiss.
Yeah, did that situation ever get resolved that you know of? I guess as far as the dirt that was taken, I think Continental hauled it out and put it on our road and around the county road, and was it ever resolved?
Well, the state's attorney's office weighed in on that, and that the issue of the dirt is determined to be, it's between Continental and Scott Weiss. The county is not liable for any of that. Is that correct, Craig? I mean, what was discussed?
That's
the letter.
The commission decided that they weren't going to be liable.
Well, we had a letter from Ross and Dean on that.
So nothing has been resolved that you know, because I think Mr. Weiss has got some other land on some other projects we're trying to do, and I don't think that we're going to get easement on the other projects we want to do unless we resolve that issue or Continental resolves that issue. I guess I'd like to see maybe the county get involved and mediate, if nothing else, to get him and Continental and everybody in a room and try to get the situation resolved from the past, and then maybe we can move on to the future.
Yeah, I don't know where Continental, I know they offered him a settlement, but I don't know where that was. That was the last at this table. It was left that Continental needed to work out the dirt, borrow dirt with Mr. Weiss. So, yes. Do you know any more, Craig, with road portfolio?
I just know that it was a county employee that told the construction company it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's been part of the, but I think I do agree with you. We need to get that worked out and move forward.
I agree, because when that goes to litigation, that's not good for anybody. Some of these issues should have been dealt with and taken care of. Litigation is not good for nobody.
I know Mr. Weiss's lawyer contacted our state's attorney and really didn't get any response from him. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe we need to get our state's attorney in here and find out where it's at, what they're doing. Because yeah, this is going to hang around for quite a while, and like you said, Dave, there's 3 projects that Mr. Bites has right away on, and it's gonna be held up until this is straightened out.
Yeah, I mean, I've had conversations with him too, and he's not signing right away easements until the past stuff's taken care of first, you know?
Yep.
You gotta figure out the past stuff before we can move forward with future stuff.
So I have a message from the state's attorney. She's working on some bond hearing things right now, so that's why she's not in the meeting. I can visit with her, and maybe the next meeting we can kind of see where things are at as far as what she was working on with this. I think we need the state's attorney's advice on it and go from there.
You know, I had the opportunity to ride with Terry yesterday, look at some of these roads where some of these right-of issues are. It would sure be nice if we could come to resolution with the people and get some of these projects going. And, you know, back to one of the questions Dave brought up, you know, we got the 60-foot of right-of-way where we tell people they got to put their fence on. I really honestly believe that down in the field section, we could get by with bring it in closer. On the top of the back slopes, go out further. But we don't own the land. We just get an easement. I honestly believe that the landowner should choose where he wants to put his fence. I think the landowners will know that you can't put it in the bottom of the ditch because it's going to block, and let them choose where they want their fence. They give us, of course, we bought the easement for that, but I really think that's an issue that let them put it where they want to, as long as they're within that 33 feet. That's kind of my opinion. And a lot of people have talked about, you know, if it's in grazing land, you think about it, if it's a mile or two long at 15, 20 extra feet, that's a lot of grazing. But on the other side of the coin as well, if we need to get back in there, we have an easement, but really how much, unless it's along a big pipe somewhere, and if it has issues, I can't imagine that the landowner wouldn't let the county go in and fix an issue that's starting to happen. So that's my opinion.
I mean, if that road's just redone, they shouldn't have to go back in there for years.
No. So I don't know if it's a county policy, but I think that should be looked at. Let the landowner put it where he wants to. We don't own that piece of ground. We just got an easement.
Well, Madam Chairman, the other thing I look at, they just did a road for me up there, or on mine. They want to put a 65, the county takes care of it. If I put it where I want to, I got to take care of it. And I got to take care of it anyway, so what makes the difference if I want to move it into 40 feet?
The county takes care of your fence.
No, I said,
the
they want
erosion.
to put it at 65, they take care of it.
I think that's something we should look at.
Why don't we take a 7-minute break before 10 o'clock?
Just at 10.
Well, might stretch it out a little bit. I was just looking at the schedule.
thumb drive there. And they just took out a bunch of dirt on my northeast corner where actually the corner post is going to fall over now because of it. They took out at least 20 feet wide to 55 to 60 yards long. They took a batch of dirt, and they'll have pictures of that. And I actually do have pictures of that also here. I could send around, but I think that it looked it on the projector there.
Can you put the screen back on?
Not sharing the picture for some reason. I do have some photos here. They're not as good as that, but I can pass this background right here. What problem is though I don't have any pictures showing the dirt. It's all on thumb drive.
Comes to me.
So.
Is that good? Yeah, that's one of the pictures. And I'll. Yeah. What's that? Oh, okay. So what this is yeah. Well, at the top right-hand corner, you can see that corner post. All that dirt has been removed up to the fence line and for about 60 yards back to the west. It'll show that. So let's go to, so this is showing before it happened. Can you go to 5531? $55.31.
It's a little small for us. Let me know.
Well, that's these pictures are all related. This question here is, where did that line come from? You know, I mean, all of a sudden it's there. Nobody told me about it. Nobody, I don't think there was a meeting on it. What does that sign say? Minimum maintenance.
Minimum maintenance.
You want 5531?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I'd like 5531.
That was the first one.
Okay, then go to 2964. There you go. That shows where the dirt has all been taken out, and they were, somebody from the commission got a hold of Tormash. He said, hey, you put that dirt back. They dumped that in. If you can look, there's good pictures showing, I mean, as far as like a foot of topsoil right on down, subsoil, all that. He went and dumped a bucket of clay, one bucket of clay. And he took out almost 20 feet by 55 feet or 55 yards of dirt and as much as 6 feet tall. Starting at that corner post, that you can see his tire tracks all the way out there. And I tell you what we'll do, because it'll make it a lot shorter. Just go to 0245, you can, Terry. That's going to be a video of this showing where the dirt's taken out and actually where it headed to. It's close to the bottom. 0245. There you go. But you can see the different soils and stuff. And this is before he comes to play. It does move kind of there. That's where he took the soil. That corner post, and he took it right around and headed way down south. You can see how far he moved over, and I do have a tape. I'll go to that one too, showing you the tape in this video. You could go to 2966.
Was that done again this summer?
What's that?
When was this done?
Well, I'm not out there all the time, but it was sometime in 22 is when I reported it. It got towards winter, so they said, no, we'll give him till spring to get this thing done. He didn't do anything. I called again here a couple months ago, and what he did is dump one bucket of clay in that corner. And you've seen that picture. If you want to see it again, we can go back to it. I want to show how I measured.
Dean, before you move this one, Terry, where's the section line?
Right there to the right to the right of it.
So in other words,
those tracks stop right here. Well, actually, it's all of it, right here, and 66 feet.
Is this the northeast corner of yours?
That's my northeast corner.
so in other words, he took out of 33 feet of yours, he took the dirt out to build the road.
Yeah, 33 feet, because I actually do have, I didn't want to just keep loading up pictures on here, but I do have a survey that's showing my fence is still a foot back from the 33-foot line. And he took that dirt all the way up to there. And this is my dirt.
And he went south with it.
Yeah, he hauls it wherever he wants. He fills in voids, and I bought this for wildlife habitat. He destroys it, but his own. He can do what he wants. I don't care. But yeah, taking my soil and just hauling it down on his land is what he did. The tracks show it. The video keeps going. You'll see where it went around the corner and headed south. And I've been dealing with this since 2007. That's the problem. And I'm not asking, Sundin made it sound like I wanted money or this and that. No, I have never asked for money. What I've asked for is put my dirt back, put my trees back, because we're going to go into that. And everything else that he's destroyed of mine. In fact, I got a fence right at the top of that hill right there that's being pushed over. He brought up so much soil. It's got to be 3 feet that he raised the road at that point. But we got pictures of this. And he just doesn't stop. And I would think that letter, what I did is I was ripped up my side of the section line. I was going to plant plots in there. He comes by the next day with a scraper and just levels everything off, blades it back, ruins my seed bed, everything. That's when we got into this little hassle. And then Sundin said, you both leave it alone. I have never touched it. I've never brought a tractor back out there in these 20-some years. He is on that thing constantly. And it shows. When I start showing you these pictures and you see the road bed, and I got the sheriff's cars in here, I got everything. And it don't mean nothing. If Sundin, and I wish he was here, he's not here, is he? Because if he would do his job, I wouldn't be here today. If any one of them would have done their job, I wouldn't be standing here today. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything, but leave my section line alone. Put it back the way it was. And when you see what the destruction that has been done, I'll pass these on. There's quite a few, but here's one that says before the destruction, then after. And it's going to be amazing what you're going to see. And for the county not to back me up on this, something's wrong. In other words, maybe today, later, I'll go get that chisel plow and I'll hook it up and I'll just zigzag through this here. And don't call me. Don't even talk to me about it because you don't do it to core match. I've been the only one that's been following the rules that the county made to the letter. I have never done nothing. These guys never, from that time that letter was done, 1 week. Well, the second page showed it. 1 week they were back on it.
Terry, did you put that minimum maintenance sign on it there?
No, that was up there.
You don't know who put that up?
I have no idea.
I don't know why it was put.
Because he was never out there. I mean, I've been out there how many times?
Yeah.
I've never been out there ever.
Wasn't there this summer.
That's a picture showing how far from the fence line. I'm hooked onto the fence right now, and that's how 20 feet right there. And I'm still not to the end of his tracks where he's taken. It might be sloped, but he took the dirt out. And that is a section line right there. We're looking west right now. And I think Terry's seen it. My corner post, it probably won't make past spring. It's going to fall over. Nothing to support it anymore. There was 20 feet of dirt there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been out there a lot of times. There was trees all along that fence too.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
And I got a picture where the trees went. That's in fact, when you see it, I think you'll see a picture of Walter and his tractor. That's where he buried the trees. And you know, I even had the sheriff out there. They lie right to his face to the sheriff. I'm telling the sheriff, hey, look at the trees along the road. They go all the way to his place, almost a mile and a half. And then he buried my trees in that corner. So I take Geetson down there. Nothing's in the report about that. Nothing's in the report about that. But I believe it was Willie comes up and denies everything about tearing out my trees, which is in these photos. You've seen that, right, Al?
Yep.
The pictures in there where they tore the trees out. Deny it. The other brother, so is Walter, Willie, deny it. They go up to Warren. Yeah, I guess I did it. Yeah, guess, but anyway, that's a lot of destruction. When you guys see the pictures of what they did to my trees on my land. In fact, one of the pictures, my attorney wrote on the top, possibly past the 33-foot mark. And it is. If you look at it, you'll see that my 33-foot where my fence is at, they went past that and tore my trees out.
Are there more pictures or?
That's all I got right there.
Okay, just wondering if.
And I was going to print out a bunch of them, but my computer last night, nothing worked.
I think, I know this has come before the board a few different times over the years. I think we probably need to get in touch with State's Attorney Kissinger and also Ross and go from there. And we're talking some legalities here. I don't know that there's anything we can do right now. And Commissioner Heiser and Olson probably need a little time to review this stuff too. So
I'm well aware of it. I actually if we did go to the vote, I'd have to abstain because I've been cutting hay on Dean's property for probably 10 years. So I'm very familiar what's been going on. So.
But like when you see this much buildup and it's in those pictures, and then it's pushing my fence over. I mean, why do I have to do a civil suit? You guys got control over this. You got century codes that protect me on this, protect the landowner. Nobody's done nothing.
Madam Chairman, I was kind of hoping Ross would be here today, but I think we're going to have to, I don't know, we tabled this so many damn times. I think we'll have to get a hold of Ross and just next meeting tell him to be here. We need his advice. We're going to do something. And I think we do need to do something about this because it's been going on and on and on, and it's not right.
No.
I mean, so I think the next meeting, we need to have Mr. Dean come down. If you can come in next meeting, and
I'll come in whenever I got.
Okay. We'll see.
I've always been here. When you guys asked me to be here, I've been here. But to no avail. I mean, look what's happening now. Like I said, 7, 10, 18, and 22. Within 1 week of the letter, he's back to tearing up the road. I mean, he don't care what you guys say. He doesn't care what Sundin says. Not one bit. The whole family. I mean, Willie, Walter, and Warren. Every one of them.
Well, I think that would be, if everybody else is all right with that, we'll get Ross in here, and then we need to make a decision and clean this thing up.
And just so you understand, I never asked for money. Ross in one of his letters, I don't know where this guy goes with his mind, but anyway, I couldn't follow it because I've never asked for nothing but put it back the way it was. That's all I've ever asked. My trees, they should have to replant them, get that dirt out of there, take that whole road back out. I don't care if they put in 4 feet, get it out of there. And fix my fences. The fence is falling over because you built it up. It shows it in the pictures.
Is there a motion to table till the next meeting?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to table to the next meeting and have Ross and Dean both come in next meeting and make a final decision on this.
Is there a second?
When is the next meeting?
January 2nd.
January 2nd?
On a Thursday.
That's fine. I got a grandson that's having a birthday and I would miss it for that. That's in Arizona. I would go there.
You got a conflict for that day?
No,
Oh.
not on January 2nd, I don't.
Oh, okay. So is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Olson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do you guys want any more pictures or is all this stuff?
I think we're good.
I've got enough here.
Good
Yeah,
enough.
I think it's good.
You've got them on there yet, too.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep, thank you for your time.
Lisa.
Bring all this stuff with you.
I'll bring it back. And hey, I got about 8 inches more if you want. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Dalzell, Board of Commissioners. I was on the agenda last month to just give you some figures about where the clerk's office is and the recorder's office is and some case statistics. And I decided to move it to this month to give you a little more data closer to the end of the year. So I do apologize. I did move it. So I did put stuff in your commissioner folders. It would have been there sooner, but the folders disappeared. So it happened this morning because the folders reappeared this morning. Thank you, Sally. But I'd like to start with the recorder's office. There is a document in there. It's called receipt totals for the recorder year to date. And the recorder's office has brought in $358,163 in recording fees and miscellaneous fees. And the miscellaneous fees, filing fees, would be for things like marriage licenses, passport application fees, corner record filings, burial transit filings, and things of that nature. I don't know if you're looking at the document, but if you look at the top of the report, it says document and non-document. The document total of $147,998, that is actual recording fees that we have collected. The $201,732 for non-documents, that would be the miscellaneous filings and copy fees. And I can tell you that the majority of that is copy fees. Most of those copies are obtained off of ENDRIN, the North Dakota Recorders Information Network. And all copies are $1 per page. And we are an oil producing county and we receive a lot of money for our copy fees. At the bottom, I just want to point out for the new commissioners where it says revenue account activity, there is a line item for preservation. There is a preservation fund that was established by law that says every document that's recorded, $3 of the recording fee goes into a special fund, and that cannot be used for anything but the preservation of records. So what I've done is I've taken money out of there at times to, when I didn't have a lot of money in the budget, to preserve like books, encapsulate documents, repair old books, some digitizing. I've taken things out of there for that fund because it's specifically for the preservation of documents. And there's another report in your folder that says document and image counts. And that says that we have the amount of documents that have come through the recorder's office this year are 4,404. And that totals about 18,236 pages. So that's what's come through the office year to date. And I would like you to know that I will be under budget. So that's a good thing. So the budget will be covered. Do you have any questions on the recorder's office or how it works or?
So Lisa,
Mhm.
the amount of revenue more than covers your budget
It
for the
does.
recorder's office.
It does. Yes, thankfully. But I did want to point out that if we just had recorded documents and not copy fees, and we were not an oil producing county, it would not cover what it takes to run the office. So very thankful for that. Any other questions on the recorder's office? Okay, and then I'm going to move to the clerk's office. I'm not sure if the new commissioners are aware, but there are two different types of clerks. You're either a state clerk or a contract clerk. The majority of the clerks in the state, clerk of courts in the state of North Dakota are contract clerks. And what that means is you enter into a funding agreement with the Supreme Court every biennium, and they pay us a stipend to perform district court services. And that stipend is based off of a workload study. And since most of the clerk of courts in the state of North Dakota that are contract clerks, they have multiple jobs, run dual offices. Some of them run 3 or 4 offices. I am a clerk of court and a recorder, so they take my wage, cut it in half, use that as part of the formula. I have asked for the whole formula and I have not gotten an answer back from the state finance department. So besides that, I don't know what else goes into that particular formula. But for let me see, this biennium, which is the 23 to 25 biennium, we receive $14,926 a month to perform district court services, which is $179,112. So that more than covers the clerk budget as well. And we will also be under budget for that. I did put, well, as far as revenues for the clerk, I also want to point out that the majority of the funds that are collected by the clerk's office go to the state. That includes traffic fines and fees. We split, it's an 80-20 split between the county and the state. So if somebody's cited for a $20 ticket, we get 20% of that. And our municipalities, all of them have signed an agreement with the state of North Dakota. And the split then is 80, 10, and 10. So off of a $20 ticket, the city municipalities aren't getting much. I mean, we could be getting $2. And at the end of the month, I cut a check to the respective, like to the city of Kilder, because they have their own law enforcement department. So other than that, the only funds that go to the county that are collected by the clerk of court's office would be the victim witness fee, which is $25. And that is a law. And that's, I believe we use that for funding some of our domestic violence funds that we send to Dickinson. But that is a specific fund. The other funds that are collected that the county gets to keep are copy fees. And now that everything is electronic, that's not a whole lot, and certification fees. In your folder, your commissioner folder, I put some stats in there. One of them is for the entire Southwest District, all 8 counties. And I did highlight Dunn counties, but the thing that's interesting or should be noted about that is the amount of cases that come through Dunn County in relation to Stark County. I just find it very interesting for the population that Stark has and the population that Dunn has, that we have the amount of cases come through this county. So I just wanted you to take a look at that. And then there's another report in there for case filing statistics specifically for Dunn County. And we are projected to hit 2,125 cases that have come through the clerk's office. What it doesn't reflect are the reopened cases. And I ran a separate report, and that's 494 cases year to date that have been reopened. So we're well over 3,000 cases that the clerks touch. Right now we're at 1,952, which is down about, it says 423 cases from last year. But with the projection, we'll be down less than 200 cases from last year. So does anybody have any questions on that? No?
Good information.
Just, I mean, I guess if you don't know, you don't know, but I think you should know.
Enlightening about all the cases, though. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the size of Dunn County, the population of Dunn County, law enforcement's busy.
A bunch up here.
Well, so we do handle quite a few cases, and for those of you that are new, there's 2 deputies on each side, 2 deputy recorders and 2 deputy clerks, and then there's me. So I split my time between both offices. So I just want to let you know they do work hard. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. Terry is available. There she is.
Chairman Dalzell, members of the commission, I wanted to give a year-end report on the 2 files, the 2 funds that we manage as a JDA for you. They're not in the file that I gave the new commissioners. Sally made copies and you should have them in her packet. I'm going to start with the Dunn County Young Farmers Grant from last year. Last year, we had 70 people who qualified and 70 people who applied, and we funded all 70. Our Young Farmers Grant, just for quick reminder, is up to 40 years old. If you are new or have been in an agricultural producing or supporting, so to speak, industry, then you may qualify if you have a project for up to $5,000. We do not require matching. We do require that you try to purchase your items and do your work locally. We do that because we believe that when you purchase locally, we understand economically that the dollars turn over at least 6 to 7 times, and there is a multiplying effect for every dollar you spend locally. This is the entire list. You can see as you roll through it what the young farmers and young producers purchased. You can tell where they purchased it. The dollars are pretty equally split across the county as well as regionally. And I would direct your attention to the very last page. With the 70 young farmers that were funded, 3 have yet to submit their the receipts and finalize and close their file, if you will. So at this point in time, there's $15,000 outstanding. With that $333,363, it's a 2 times multiplier, so to speak. So while the local people spent our dollars of the 345 when it's all spent, that has doubled in the community. And the majority of those funds were spent locally. So while the funds went to the young producers and farmers, they were spent at our local businesses and manufacturers, if you will, if that's what they were purchasing. We do require that they file an impact statement in order to be eligible for next year's funding. You can see that there are a few impact statements outstanding. That would be the X's on the far left of your paper that you're looking at. They have until the end of the year to get those in. We will reopen because you did refund this for next year, the first part of December, and we do plan to, wrong month, wrong year, first part of January. And we do plan to be at the Bowl Days to roll this out. I think it's the 18th of January, in order to make sure that we can make face-to-face contact with the bulk of the individuals who will be qualified for these funds. Do you have any questions regarding the Young Farmers Program or how it was ran last year?
I don't think so.
Madam Chairman, Carrie, do they have to bring a slip in to show what they bought, or they just?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they do. We do require submission of paid receipts.
Okay.
Any other questions? The other fund that we manage for you is our very popular Dunn County Down Payment Incentive Program for the benefit of the new commissioners. I have printed the entire register for you, sans the names of the participants. At this point in time, we have participated in 80 homes in Dunn County. The program started on, well, our first one that we paid out and approved was in March of 2021, running to, of course, today's date, and we are fully funded for next year moving forward. I can tell you that at this point in time, we have processed 53 existing homes across Dunn County, and it's all across Dunn County. And we have actually completed, I should say we have participated in the completion of 18 homes. 9 are currently in the process. Those would be the yellow ones. Sally, are they colored? Yeah. Okay, the ones that are highlighted yellow, there are 9, maybe not. They're not highlighted. Well, there are 9 that are in the process, that are approved, that are currently pending completion. So when that is all said and done, there'll be 27 new homes having been built in the county with the assistance of this program. All total, I can tell you that the average cost of those homes that are built, somewhere in the neighborhood of $483,000, and that is average. Understand that there are lower ones and there are more expensive ones, the nature of the average. The estimated value based upon market appraisal at the time of closing on the completed homes, $8.6 million. And that's new value added to the county. And the estimated sales value on the homes that have been closed, which are 53 at this point in time, is $15.2 million. Currently, a search on Zillow prior to coming in shows that there are 8 houses in Dunn County that are on the market. One of which I have had a call just the other day that somebody is in the process of purchasing it, so that takes it down to 7. And we know that there's also 1 rural home being built that I don't have an application on as well. The city of Killdeer has listed their lots. We know they have 30 to sell. They have 4 on, they're not on contract. They're pending the closing because there's some title work that has to be done. But they've signed the commitment to sell those, 2 of which will be spec, 2 of which will be permanent homes for people. So when we deal with somebody who's doing a spec home, we do not come in on the financing of the spec home, as was directed when this program rolled out. We participate with the family who will be living in that home. So we'll come in when that spec home gets sold, and it will process as a new home, not an existing home. That is our one exception. We know that there is 1 more, possibly from a visit with a realtor. We know that there is 1 more of those 30 lots at the city that somebody has shown interest in. So then they'd be down to 25. One of our, well, I shouldn't say one, perhaps the biggest promoter of this program is our local lenders. Everyone who goes to the banks that participate with this program find out about this program, whether they are buying or building, and then I get the call. One of the reasons why I love this program so much, and I'm thankful for you continue to fund it, is when you look at the communities where these homes have been built, and when you look at across the county, it's all over. We've built in rural New Raddick, we've built in rural Richardson, we've built in Halliday, we've built outside of Dodge, we've built up on the mountain. And I say we, it's certainly not we, but we are administering the program. It's a scattering. But what we do know is there's an absence of lots to build on. So the homes that are being built, except for the ones that will soon hopefully be built in Killdeer, are being built rurally on rural property, typically by individuals who are fortunate enough to be related to land or have the opportunity to buy the few rural subdivided lots that we have. But it is a very successful program. I have worked with Sally. Sally has, on your direction, filled up the coffers, so to speak. And so we're sitting at somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000 to give down payment incentives as we move forward into next year. And this was our biggest year ever. Do you have any questions?
I think it's a great program. We got to do something to get people to move to our county and want to stay in our county. So I think it's working.
Well, we've certainly seen an increase of people with an interest of building. I took a call yesterday with the family who is building on an infill lot in the city of Killdeer, and that would actually be our first home that we participate with in the city of Killdeer. So when that permitting is done, when I have that application, that will be in next year's portfolio.
So Carrie, within the city of Killdeer, they also have a program similar to this, or?
Commissioner Dalzell, at one point in time, before they invested in their subdivision, they had thought perhaps they would be willing to do that. My understanding at this point in time is they do not, because they have put in at their own expense the infrastructure necessary to develop those lots. And they are offering the lots that they are selling at, I believe, $1 a square foot. So they're very affordable. And so given that, they felt that it was not necessary for them to provide additional funding to make it more affordable.
Yeah. That's kind of what I had heard. I just wanted to make sure. So this individual will be using the county program. It's not through the city.
That is correct. Yes. Yep. Regardless of the communities that they build in, regardless of the location in the county, within the county, if they meet the criteria of the program, they can participate in the program.
I just want to thank you for the work that you put into this. I know you go to closings and
that's part of my job.
Yep. So anyway, thank you for all you do to make this a successful program on behalf.
And thank you for funding it.
Any other questions for Carrie? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See, our county agents are here, so.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
So a couple of things that the A&R side of things has been working on. We had our Western Beef Summit. That's an annual beef summit that we have. That was November 20th. And we had a really good turnout of producers there. We focused on cattle stress and what that looks like in the future, and the impacts of stress that have happened in the past here as of lately. We had our Christmas party, our 4-H Christmas party on December 8th. We have awards, so that's where our youth get their jackets that you might see them wearing around with their clover on them. That's where they receive all of that stuff from Achievement Days. We had some pizza, and then we had a service learning project. And this year's service learning project was the free little libraries. We had the different clubs. We had 5 different clubs make free little libraries. So it's up to the clubs on where they want to place those little libraries. So there will be 5 communities with those in them. We had a safety day at the elementary school. That was December 11th. We had a committee that Chris was part of, as well as Sarah Dutenhefner, part of this this project. We had 3rd through 6th graders at this safety day at the Killdeer School, and that included Twin Buttes. We had 181 kids participate and 36 volunteers. The kids were able to go to different stations, and those different stations included grain bin safety, fire safety, hidden hazards on the farm, chemical lookalikes. Vision Zero was there, falling objects, that was presented by Cord Energy, mental health, Chris presented on, and then first aid safety was there as well. We have some commercial applicators coming into test just to get that done by the first of the year. So that's been taking up some time in the office. And then our end of the year reporting for the state is due here in the next couple of weeks. We, Sarah, our administrative assistant, went back to the auditor's office, which we were sad to see her go. But we had interviews on Monday, and we're hoping to hire by hopefully the first of the year. Some upcoming events that are coming, just to have some dates in mind. Commodity elections for Dunn County are set for January 22nd, 5 p.m. here at the courthouse. corn, dry pea, and lentil are up, and sunflower are up this year. We are hosting the regional district elections for the dry pea and lentil council here at the courthouse. And then we also have a soil management workshop coming up. That's February 5th. That'll be in Halliday. And we're going to really focus on fertilizer management, I guess. And we'll have a Dickinson Research Center update on what's happening there. Our 4-H breakfast, that's February 9th this year. That is the day after our FFA has their 4-H contest, or their FFA contest in Killdeer. That will include 4-H this year. So that's exciting. February takes up, or is taken up by livestock judging, and then our pesticide trainings. Those are set for March 6th, 11th, and 13th this year.
On my side, first week in December, I did a vaping curriculum through NDSU with all 7th and 8th graders that are in health class at the school. It was week long. We went through the curriculum, and then we created posters or commercials off the topics that they learned, and it went really good. They've asked me to come back to hit the kids in February that we missed that weren't in health, so I'll be doing that in February. I became a nationally certified lifestyle coach through the Pre-Diabetes Association. Wrapped that up in December. Last Thursday, we had a Mix It Up De-Stressor jar gift program. I had 14 ladies come in. We used the kitchen here and just talked about de-stressing over the holidays. We talked a lot about the 80-20 rule, that 80% of your stress really comes from 20% of your life and how you can organize that out. I had another extension agent come in, and she taught the art of gift wrapping with cloth instead of paper, just to save on that. That group of ladies was awesome. They came up with a list of other things they'd like to meet on every other month if we would be willing to offer them stuff. Everything from making spices to charcuterie boards to a self-defense class that came up multiple times. There, we made some connections within the county of different communities. Someone had a bad sewing machine, so someone else is going to go to her house and stop by and help her fix it. So that was kind of cool to see people who didn't know each other who now have relationships building. For the farm safety, I presented on letting go of your stress for kids and explaining to them how that affects them in school. Big into athletics, how it affects your physical body if you're holding on to your stress. So we did a planning thing of letting go of the good stuff in ways you can keep your good information. For her DYSP class training, I'm going to do the cooking for that, and we're going to showcase NDSU extension recipes. There, on the move class is the health class for 3rd grade on eating. It's about calcium in the bones, and I'll be doing that Mondays all through January and February. I am offering a Nourish class on Thursdays for adults over 55. That it's an hour and a half long course, and it looks at different areas of being healthy. So one week it is your skin, how to take care of your skin, and it's your eyes. There's 6 different classes there, and that'll be Thursdays. And I'm going to do that here upstairs in that wonderful room that we have up there. We have our advisory council meeting. We meet twice a year, and that's January 22nd. So we'll be bringing our advisory council in to visit with ideas of what they're doing around the communities and things we need to focus on. I had the Halliday Food Pantry the 1st Wednesday of the month, and Killdeer Food Pantry the 3rd Wednesday of the month. I hope to hit that a little better. I've been kind of hit and miss with trainings. I have a charcuterie board making class February 13th. Pesticide training, I'll be doing the how to handle your laundry when spraying. In May, we have certification for daycare providers. I'm certified that I can present that to them now. So they've asked that we do it in person. They've been doing it online. They'd rather meet in person. So we'll be doing that one. We head to spring extension conference is the 1st week in April. I'm doing some outreach. I've had some recommendations that we need to hit, that Dodge and Neurotic have been voicing some interests of things they want to have. So we're looking at first aid, stop the bleed, and some mental health stuff It's now in those directions with that stuff. Any questions?
I'd like to comment on the 4-H. You know, I kind of lived in the southern part of the county until I started getting interested in running is how this community comes together for things. In the 4-H, I went up to the breakfast. It was amazing. The people, how they outpour to support these things. And it's, like I said, I kind of missed out on the south part of the county. Now that I've been kind of up here, this is a great community. And when someone's in need, it seems like there's someone always to step up. So really looking forward to spending more time and getting involved in some of the invites, you know, on the Facebook pages. Facebook is good, Facebook is bad, but at least you kind of know in the communities what's going on. And it's great. So kudos to the parents and the kids for the 4-H and everything you do for all the classes.
Any other questions? Not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bessie, let's well talk about this.
Morning.
Good morning again.
I did send you guys out some information in an email last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say. When the board met, I believe it was the November 20th meeting, the board approved a restructuring of the Building and Grounds Department. There were some additional duties and changes in the way that job is structured. Anytime we have a change in a job like that, we have to go back and relook at the job description. We reevaluate that. So I did work with Will to make sure that all of those things were added to his job description. And along with adding things to a job description, we needed to look at where that job would now fall within our classification system. For the two new commissioners, we have a classification system for our jobs and positions in the county that's based on the duties and the responsibility of the position. So the information that I sent out to you last night, in working that job description through our methodology, it was found that the position needs to be moved from a C4-1 up to a D6-1 in our classification system. And with that comes a change in your pay range. When I looked at the pay of Will at the moment, he does fall below where that new pay range starts. And that's not extremely equitable. So I am here to ask the board to approve moving him up to the minimum of that range, plus his merit, and of course the minimum being adjusted for whatever COLA is determined by the board. That's a lot. Any questions?
So, Desi, on the it's D6-1 is where the request.
Yes, sir.
To move
yes,
him
ma'am.
towards, and it's the 4202 as it stands now, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And then if the board approves a COLA today, then that range would be adjusted for that COLA. So that number would be different.
I didn't get the email. No, I got the one with the agenda on it, but I didn't get the one with this stuff on it.
I was about to say, I'm prepared. I have a copy. No, I'm not. No, I did. Well, there is a copy of the job description, but I believe I left that for everyone already.
So Will is banded now at C41.
Correct.
And is his pay in the middle range there?
He is about at 43%, 43% into his range.
So the D61 would be almost the same as he's making right now. Is that right? The minimum?
Approximately, yes, ma'am. Okay. There would be an adjustment though, because he is still below that minimum.
Mm-hmm.
What did we add to his job description to justify raising them up on the pay scale there.
There was a reason why I brought a paper copy. Let's see. So what was added to his position or to the department is an additional position, which I believe he has yet to fill. And then he restructured the positions that he has in order to spread the work out better while he was taking on the new duties. And he is taking over, my understanding, is a parks director position. So that would be facilitating park board meetings, the administrative duties that fall with that. He also facilitates the building committee meetings in the respect that he helps to get he works with the vendors and things like that. Let's see, sorry, gotta find it all. He would also be taking on the campgrounds, the reservations, and the maintenance of the Little Mo. And then he would be working with the park board, overseeing their annual management plans and leases. And then also manning waterworks.
So it's more supervisory roles and more duties as well.
Yes, ma'am. And it would be more supervisory, but also more responsibility outside of what he currently has.
Who did his task before?
As far as the park board, he did some of them as employee, but he was also on the park board, and he's no longer will be on the park board. And and we're adding another position that was budgeted. So that would be new. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? I guess I would entertain a motion to approve the classification for our building and maintenance of Will Albrecht from C41 to D61, and at the recommended minimum pay of $42.02, is that right? Plus, and it would be adjusted for his.
Correct. If the board approves COLA, that number would be adjusted for that, and then plus any merit that he receives.
Madam Chairman, I'd so move to approve the change in status for the C41 to D61.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Pelton. Is there a second? Is there a second? I'll second the motion for further discussion. Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote. The motion is to change the status or the banding of the building and grounds maintenance and the manager of the park board from C41 to D61 banding on our pay scale.
So I ask a question. So what is the increase in pay from that your classifications?
The only increase really is whatever COLA we will do and whatever his merit or performance review reflected.
Correct. So if the board approves a cost of living adjustment, we do apply that to our pay scale. So it would move that number.
So his salary won't really change other than basically what he's getting now.
That's pretty much it, isn't it, Desi?
He is slightly below that minimum, so it will be an increase to that minimum.
Okay,
and then that adjustment of whatever is approved by the board for cost of living.
So what's the number? What's the increase number? What's he at now?
What is he at now? Well, let's see. He is at, I don't know the exact number, but he is at 40, I believe it's 4028 now.
And this is 4202.
Correct.
Any more discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, Desi. Do we want to talk the COLA while you're here? As long as you're here, so you don't have to come back. So we've talked a few different times about the cost of living adjustment or COLA. And it was the board's wishes to wait till the last final numbers were available. And so Desi, I think, has some information on that. And I believe she gave us a handout as well.
Yep. So the numbers for December are 2 points. The numbers for November, which are released in December, is 2.6% inflation. The average across the year and that is for our Midwest region. The average across the year is also 2.6.
Any questions?
Well, the question I have is, when it come to your budget time, wages increase for the employees, was it a 2%, 3%, or what was it?
Oh, Commissioner Heiser, so when we do our budgets, I kind of average a little bit higher. So when all the department heads were doing their budgets this year, I told them to average a 3% on their budget, just to ensure that we would not go over in salaries.
So potentially, if we approve a 2.6% COLA and add that, so employees could be getting like 5.6% raise.
Are you talking with the performance review?
Yes.
Okay.
Total. I mean, I'm just wondering what seems like what happens is the top end, higher paid people get so much further away from the bottom end. So I'm just kind of wondering, is it just a unanimous straight across the board? Because I know there's been some concerns of $100,000 employee could get over $5,000 a year raise, or almost $6,000.
Madam Chairman, excuse me. I've got a good question. I guess anybody can answer it. I would like it, because somebody that's getting 100,000, a 3% raise, get $3,000, right? Somebody that's getting 60,000 with a 3% raise only gets 1,800, right? Okay. Now, I want to know if there's anybody in this room can buy gas cheaper than I can, or can buy clothes cheaper than I can, or food. Where I've got the problem, I think, if we're going to do cost of living, I think everybody that works for the county should get the same cost of living. I don't care if it's 2% or 3% or 1%, whatever. But I think every employee should get the same, because it costs everybody the same to come to work every day, to buy clothes and to buy food. So I just, like Al said, the higher paid people are making more than the lower ones. And I don't think that should even be a cost of living is a whole together different thing. And I think everybody should get the same.
Commissioner Klein, I don't question that, but cost of living across the country is a percentage. And so if everything went up 2.6%, that's what the cost is. It's a 2.6% increase, and it's measured by a percentage. So 2.6% on a gallon of gas, which actually gas has gone down. But if we start, I feel if we start doing lump sums, our pay scale gets all skewed and not correct. So everybody, the dollar amount you make now, it's costing you 2.6% to stay the same. So if we've decided that salary should be, just say, a $60,000 salary, that's the right pay for a certain position or job, we're now saying it's going to take 2.6% to bring you to that same point. So if we do lump sums, we're sort of compressing the pay scale, and it kind of throws it off. So I guess that's how I look at it. If we do a lump sum, someone will be getting a 6% cost of living adjustment to their salary and not a 2.6%, where the top salary person, it might only be a 1.5% cost of living, so they actually go backwards. So cost of living is kind of a whole separate thing from where our salaries are, because we've established what, just say a deputy auditor gets paid. We've established the pay for the auditor. We've established the pay for the recorder. So if we start messing with or changing that cost of living, what it means, we mess up our pay scale.
Madam
Go ahead.
Chair.
Sorry.
So the reason for a cost of living adjustment is to make a person whole again when it comes to their real wage. Now your real wage is what you make per hour or per salary, what you make minus what it costs you to live. So as Chairman Dalzell was saying, if the cost of living goes up 2%, then I have lost 2% of my real wage. And I do understand your point of view, and that this person would get a larger sum of money than that person. But as Commissioner Dalzell stated, we do have this pay structure in place, and the pay a person gets is based on their job, their duties, and their responsibilities to the county. So unfortunately and fortunately, we do have people who are in different areas of the pay scale, but those who are higher have worked to gain that salary or to earn that salary.
Hey, Desi, can you explain, so the higher pay scales, you said they're not as eligible for as a higher percent merit raise as the lower pay scales, right?
Yes, sir. So for our merit increases, we do have that merit matrix, which the board approved, I believe, 3 years ago, and adjusted last year. We use comp ratio in that formula, and that means where your hourly rate stands in ratio to the midpoint of your pay range. So the higher comp ratio you have, or the further you are into your pay range, the lower percentage of your merit that you're available to receive, depending on your review. So if you are a newer person to the county, and you are making more towards the bottom end of your pay range, you do have the ability, based on your performance, to earn a higher percent increase for merit.
Madam Chairman, I guess where I got the problem, I don't think there's anybody working for the county that isn't important. I think every individual is from the bottom of the pay scale to the top. And it costs them all the same to come to work every day. And I would like to see I don't care, $2,000, $3,000 raise or COLA for everybody that works for the county. And that's easy. That's pretty easy to put in.
Madam Chairman. So I believe the handout that I gave to you would show if the board decided to give, and I'm going to round up for easy number, a $2,000 increase across the board, every employee received that. We would have, we'd have one employee who would receive a 6% cost of living adjustment. Inflation is at 2%. We'd have two employees who would receive a 5% cost of living adjustment. We'd have 7 who would receive a 4%, and 48 that would receive a 3%. we would have 34 employees within the county that would receive a 2% increase to their wages, and cost of living is at 2.6. So effectively, they would be taking a pay reduction, even with their merit, right? Because they earned their merit. They worked hard to get that. So they would effectively be taking a pay cut, which goes back to what Commissioner Dalzell was saying about the established rate of pay for a certain position. So if the board chose to do that, those positions would be, their pay rate would be lowered.
Thank you, Desi. Well, I guess I would make a motion to go with the 2.6% cost of living adjustment. That's the most recent information that we have. Is there a second? Is there a second for further discussion?
I'd second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Olson. Any discussion? Any further discussion? I think we've discussed it. Not?
So when
go ahead.
when you did the budget, so I can't quite understand, was there a raise given a percentage across the board, or was there a 2%, 3% when you did your budget? What I understand is you did your budget, but you left this COLA to the end. So
Al, what we did for purposes of budgeting and coming up with numbers, we just did a 3% across the board. We just added that to the department salary line because we knew we wouldn't be above that for COLA, but we could always go lower. So I kind of took the average merit increase and the top of the COLA increase, and that's what we added to the budget. So realistically, everybody's salary budgets will be under this year.
So it's already been budgeted, and you were just waiting to see the end of the year where the COLA comes out.
Okay. Anything else? There's a motion on the table to increase the cost of living adjustment, or not increase, but the cost of living adjustment approval of 2.6%. So roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
No.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes. Motion carries. For the discussion. Thank you, Desi.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
That stuff. I think before we go on, it's on item H under new business, the commission meeting date of February 19th. That is the legislative engagement meeting dates, the 18th and 19th in Bismarck. I was at the North Dakota County Commission Association meeting the other day, and it's this, I think, would be a very good meeting for us to be at. And I know other counties that do have meetings on the the third Wednesday of each month are changing their meeting dates. So just wondering what your wishes are, if that's something we want to move the meeting date. And with that, we'd have to let the engineers know if we have any bid openings, but I think there's still time to adjust the date. They're not advertised yet.
Is that one date or 2 days, that thing?
It's 2 days.
2 days, the 18th and 19th?
Yeah. So if we were to move it to Thursday like we are with the January 2nd meeting, would that be reasonable?
Fine for me.
January 2nd.
Well, yeah, New Year's is Wednesday, January 1st, but this would be February. We would move it from the 19th to the 20th, correct?
Madam Chairman, I move that we move our February 19th meeting to the 20th of February.
Okay, there's a motion to move the meeting date to February 20th to accommodate attendance at the legislative engagement meeting in Bismarck.
I'd second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Olson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Do we want to see, Daryl is here. We've got portfolio, the park board, I believe we have an application in our stuff. For Zachary Pavlicek, is that correct? Yeah. Gerald, did you want to say anything or just, I thought while you're sitting here, we would. Oh, it's okay, I'm sorry. Zach Pavlicek for the Dunn County Park Board.
Good morning, commissioners. Welcome to the two new commissioners to the commissioner board. So commissioners, with the approval, and this was a lot of discussion from the park board that happened over the time moving wheel. And one of you had asked who else took care of some of them duties before for the park board, and that was Carrie. We started the park board operation and committee that worked with that and the board members underneath JDA. And it was time for the graduate on with the number of things that you approved and give to her to run and operate and take care of. And she was starting to struggle with time to be available for us to have our monthly meetings and take care of business necessary. So that's why we suggested we'll look forward and talk to you guys about it and try to, because he was doing the maintenance side and everything else was pretty much computer. The auditor's office has agreed to do the minutes from the recording. They don't actually put a person in the room anymore. They just do it from the recording, and then the minutes are available to the public. So that's filling in. Zach Pavlicek, we had talked about a number of different people. We had a couple people from Dodge. We had one from Manning, one from New Raddick, and Zach was the only one that stepped up to the board to send an application in. So that's why his application's in there. I've known Zach for quite a few years. I've known his parents. I've known his grandparents. I think he's very worthy, and I think he'll be a board member that will serve us very well and replace Will on that board. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Daryl.
Madam Chairman, make a motion to put Zach on the park board.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pelton. The motion to appoint Zach Pavlicek to the Dunn County Park Board. Further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. We should take care of a few of these beer and liquor license, Sally.
All right, so we have 3 2025 beer and liquor licenses. The first is Western Choice, the Cynics here in Manning. The next is the Doghouse here in Manning. And then we have the Catholic Workman's Hall in New Raddick. And those are all beer and liquor licenses for the year of 2025.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion we approve the liquor license.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion to approve the beer and liquor license as presented by Auditor Whittingham. Any question or any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. County Services Vehicle.
So I was approached. We currently have a county services vehicle, an Explorer, and we share that between 9 departments. Currently, it's in the shop being fixed, but we do find that we are always short a vehicle. I put $150,000 in the 2025 budget for county vehicles, and it has been asked of me that I request that we get another county vehicle for the tax director and planning and zoning to share, because they go out quite a bit and they need a vehicle that's either all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive that is clearly marked. So when they go to do the assessing and, checking on the zoning and things like that, that they're clearly from the county. So I was just asking to request if we could use part of that $150,000 that was budgeted for 2025 to purchase another county services vehicle, primarily for tax assessing and planning and zoning.
Do you have a guess of a dollar amount on what they're
I
looking to spend?
do. Actually, I was talking to Gary. He helped me. We could get like a bare bones kind of a fleet vehicle from anywhere from 42 to 48,000. Because we don't need anything fancy. It's just going to be, used for going out. It could get muddy, dirty. We don't need anything crazy. Just something that they can get around with. They're not going to get stuck in. And he said he would help.
Like a SUV or something?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Your wishes?
Yeah, I'd move to go ahead and buy the vehicle with a budget of up to $48,000.
There's a motion to go ahead with purchase of a vehicle up to $48,000. Second by Commissioner Pelton. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Sally. Okay, I added to the agenda the United States 250th birthday is coming up in 2026. It is called, if I get this right, semi-quincentennial. I had to practice that a few times. And just, I guess, wanted to bring it up to the commission to see if we would be, like to participate or see that we can get a committee together to help with that celebration. I know in the past for the bicentennial, I think the county was involved somewhat. It may be, to start with, I think the beginning of 25 doesn't even leave us that much time, for planning. But just wanted to put that on your radar.
Would it be something in conjunction during the 4th of July or some?
I would.
What's it all entail? Or
I would say for the most part in conjunction with the 4th of July, but there could be events, throughout the year.
Sure.
But I had visited with Loanne about this, and she talked about the community engagement committee. I think there's a group getting together that she could bring it to the different communities and see if we can't get some participation. I did visit with Larry Fry about this. He's very interested in the wagons, wagon train type of thing, getting the bicentennial wagon here. There's a lot of logistics to work out with that, but I guess I just wanted to let you know, I think would be a worthy cause that the county should be involved in. And maybe, I thought, Loanne isn't here today, but maybe working with Loanne to.
You say there is a committee that's kind of spearheading this thing?
There isn't yet.
Isn't? Okay.
I would like to see maybe direction from this commission to kind of set up a Dunn County semi-centennial committee. I think it's important to our county and history and celebration.
Well, if you're looking for volunteers, I can be one. Everywhere else, I think it'll be a big deal.
So I guess the consensus is we would support setting up and
I think Loanne would be a good person to get it spearheaded, and then she can probably tell us what we need, and we can support that. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Left. County building. Want to do that now? Under new business, county building phases and budget. Do we have anything today on that or not?
Well, I think we've got to come up with our, if we're going to set our budget, either we got to do it now or we got to start all over because our leases run out with JLG and JE Dunn. So we set a budget now, then they'll be tied to that for this next project.
Okay.
I think the building committee was talking 20 million. Was that?
I think that's where we ended up at. Yeah, it's
So
we
it
could probably
would,
do it for a little cheaper than that, but that's probably it's going to be in that
Just
neighborhood to get both the projects done with the courthouse remodel and then the public safety center.
it doesn't mean that that's what would be spent, but it's a number to work with too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still kind of working through some different plan changes and stuff like that. Yeah, different designs and that. So, but the problem is we either got to approve the budget now or start from scratch after the first of the year because the contracts run out.
Is there a motion to, what are your wishes? I haven't been involved with the building committee, so.
I move that we set the budget for the courthouse remodel and the PSC building for 20 million.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'd second that.
Motion and second to set the budget for the public service building and whatever courthouse remodel would be needed at 20 million. Any further discussion?
I have a little discussion. I get the courthouse here is going to be kind of a fix. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be because we just need to make the room wider. But I just hope that if we set the budget at $20 million, like I said, this building over here is going to be what it, you know, we're kind of limited to what we have to do. When it comes to the public safety center, I just hope that it doesn't cost 17 million that take, because here's what happens is if we give them a budget of 17 million, that's what it's going to cost. I think we need to look at some options. And I think we can build it. Could you figure that out? I think the building was like 24,000 square feet. That's what one of the plans we had. So if you figure that out, that's $700 and some a square foot. I think all day long, we should be able to build a building that is very functional and has some aesthetics to it for probably $350 to $400 a square foot, which is a lot. I've talked to a lot of reputable builders. They think all day long they could build a building that will function properly for considerably less than 17 million. That's my take.
I agree with that. I think part of the cost, there's soft costs included in that, and if we have to, you know, other things too, not just the construction. So, but yeah,
I have a real problem with soft costs in the way some of these contractor managed at risk work. If we're going to go ahead with a building, I think we should either have I kind of made some notes, a single prime bid where a prime contractor bids the whole building, or have a multiple prime with bids for plumbing, electrical, or if you're going to have a contract manager at risk, a guaranteed maximum. I see that happen so often. You're going to build a building, just what's going to cost at the end of the day, we're 2 to 3 million more. So I'm in favor of building the buildings, but I think we need to tread carefully. You know, if you go buy a $40,000 car, that's what you're going to get, but you could probably suffice for something less. So I think we just need to be careful when we come to the final planning stages.
So I know historically when we've done these buildings, we've come in under their gross maximum price has always been what it, and we've come under. So, you know, they build in contingencies and all that because you never really know. So, but yeah, point well taken. We need to look at it closer, but okay.
Yeah, I think going through it, there's going to be room to cut costs. The thing is we need to set the number to make sure we got enough there to cover it, but I think we can build it for quite a bit less than what we're proposing here too.
Hey, do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yeah.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, motion carries.
Get the DOT thing.
Oh, right. We tabled the Ramsey Hill permit from the last meeting. We need a motion to take it off the table.
Madam Chairman, Terry and I took a look at it yesterday. Okay.
I'll make a motion to take this off the table.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
And
Aye.
Did Al want to say something?
that was just to take it off the table.
Yeah. So everybody said aye?
Yep.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay, anyway, I had the chance with Terry. We went out and looked at the road and I talked with Jeremy. I think that road is built strong enough to take the traffic. He says they actually put load restrictions on the spring. That's where it be most sensitive during, frost laws out. Once they round the corner, I mean, it's not very far, so it's not like they're really going to be getting up to speed. So my personal opinion, that road is built probably to take the traffic, because if Highway 8 is built strong enough and the DOT is okay with it, I really don't think it'll hurt that short section of road.
Which section you talking about, Al?
They're coming off of Highway 200, and I forget what street it is up to. 103rd up.
Head towards County South.
Must be what, a half a mile maybe to their shop.
Half a mile.
I mean, the road's been upgraded. It's got 4-to-1 in slopes. I think it's safe, and Jeremy feels that when they did their study, that was built heavy enough for 105.5.
But they put on there for spring load restrictions.
7 ton.
7 ton. That'll still be in place then.
So is there a motion to approve the request?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser to approve Ramsey Hill Logistics segment requests for 22 and 200 in Dunn County. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Pelton. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. So the end of the year, Sally's prepared budget transfers. Does everybody have this? Okay, so I'll go through it. Now, these were built into the budget for 24, correct? Nothing outside of what was approved in our budget. So from general fund to road and bridge, it was budgeted 40 million to transfer. General fund to the building fund, 300,000. The building fund is actually these buildings and grounds, not a new construction building. General fund to JDA, 127,000. General fund to Southwest Corrections, 200,000. General fund to weed control, 50,000. For a total of budget transfers out of general fund of 40,677,000. One of the things we've received, a lot of gross production tax in general fund, and Sally would say we have to bring down our general fund balance to 75% of our budget. So, and then these transfers were budgeted to make these other departments, support them, subsidize them, so there doesn't have to be more taxes assessed. So basically it's general or gross production tax, supporting these other departments in lieu of levying property tax. So I guess anybody has questions, direct them to Sally.
I've got a kind of a question or something I've been thinking about is, we transfer that into road and bridge. That's fine, but somehow at the end of the day, we need to figure out how we can get roads to build so we can use that money. Because we keep continuing rolling in there, and early in our conversations, we need to figure out how we can acquire right-of-ways, or I don't know, but like I said, we need to figure out how to get roads built in this county. I know our engineers reports, we report the same thing over and over and over. How are we going to get over that hump to spend that money? That's a real issue. So hopefully we can figure out some way in the near future to get through some of them blocks in the road that we have. So that's my comment.
So as the commission, we would need to approve these transfers. Sally, as auditor, cannot do the transfers without they were budgeted, but.
Madam Chairman, I'd go ahead and move the transfers that have been listed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Clayman. Okay, any further discussion?
So if we transfer that money, does that get our general fund balance below threshold? So we're good for the year then?
Okay, it's been motioned and second to approve the transfers as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Sally. That done. Leo and board appointments. Took care of one. So why don't we look at the department heads first?
By the end of the year.
Everybody have a copy of the
Discuss it.
the appointed department heads? So, so we have emergency manager, the coroner, Sarah Dutenhefner, the coroner, Kirk Roll, director of tax equalization, Holly Hutchison, veteran service officer, Carolyn Benz, zoning code administrator, Sandy Rohde, human resources, Desi Calho, 9/11 coordinator, Sandy Rohde, building maintenance supervisor, Will Albrecht, communications specialist, Loanne Russhow, and road superintendent. As of now, we don't have a person in that role. We have Terry as acting superintendent. So with the department heads, I guess I would look for a motion to appoint those positions. They're appointed every year and annually.
JDA.
Oh, JDA. Not on my list here. JDA, Carrie Boster.
I'd move to appoint those people as the department heads.
Motion to appoint the department.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pelton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Water Resource Board is a 3-year term. Kyle Fairby, I had talked to him. He is stepping down. Doesn't want to be reappointed. It's things going on. Busy. So Russ Stein, Mike Schellmeyer, currently there's Russ Stein, Mike Schellmeyer, Kane Germanson, and Ryan Carahus. Mike Schellmeyer is up for, his term ends, so he's up for reappointment. As far as Kyle's position, I think we need to put it out again and get someone interested to fill out an application. And it's kind of our process now for these boards. So
there'll be 2 positions open, or?
Well, there's one open and Mike is willing to serve another term. So
I'd move to appoint Mike for the next 3 for another term.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Going on to Planning Commission. As far as I know, everyone, well, we'll have to decide to do the portfolios here in a minute for the Commissioner Beener and former Commissioner Beener and Marsh's positions. So just be a matter of filling those 2. we're looking at planning. So Commissioner Pelton agreed to take on zoning as a board member. And Commissioner Heiser is willing to do that. So that would be the two terms that are up. So Commissioner Pelton and Heiser, you are okay with that?
Do we have to make a motion?
Yeah.
Make a motion that Commissioner Pelton and Commissioner Heiser take the open spots in the planning and zoning.
Second.
Moved and seconded that Commissioner Heiser and Commissioner Pelton be appointed to the Planning and Zoning Board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, Airport Authority, Logan Lynch and Jeff Jacobs, or no, just Logan's term is up. He's willing to serve again, so we would need a motion to approve Logan Lynch reappointment to the Airport Authority.
I so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to reappoint Logan Lynch to the Airport Authority Board. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Weed control. We have Russ Stein is up, Commissioner Pelton, and that's it, right? If I see this, looking at this correctly. And as far as I know, Russ is willing to stay on, or have you?
I'm sure he will.
Oh, okay. So need a motion to approve reappointing Russ Stein and Commissioner Pelton to the Weed Control Board.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we put Russ Stein and Mr. Pelton back on the weed board.
There's a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Olson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Park Board. Got our new person. And I did talk to Jim Jeske. He's willing to serve another term on the Park Board. So we would need to reappoint Jim Jeske.
Yeah, Bob Brew has expired too, it looks like.
Bob Brew's
Is
on
he?
there too.
Oh, sure he is. Let's see where he goes. So Bob and Jim are willing to serve another term. And I am going to step off the Park Board. And I did talk to Commissioner Heiser. He said he would be willing to take that position. So it would be a motion to approve Commissioner Heiser and reappoint Jim Jeske and Bob Brew to the Park Board.
Madam Chairman, I'd move that we reappoint Jim Jeske and Bob Brew to the Park Board and add Commissioner Heiser to there too.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Olson. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, I think we missed one on Dunn County Housing Authority.
Oh, yeah. I'm just jumping.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
I just,
No. So the Dunn County Housing Authority, in Lazarenko, I never got a chance to talk to her.
Sure, she'll take it.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'd move that we leave this one until the first of the year to discuss it some.
Okay. Do that. Just add it. Finish business. Everyone's okay with that? Right, so now moving on to the portfolios. We haven't filled. Road Department, Commissioner Pelton has agreed to stay on the road portfolio, and Commissioner Heiser has indicated he would like to be on that portfolio as well. I think we'll go down the list and then we can have discussion. The building committee, just bear with me, there are the notes. Commissioner Olson and Commissioner Pelton. Southwest Multi-Correction Center, I hold that portfolio and I'm willing to stay with that. Human Resources were Commissioner Beener and Marsh. I talked to Commissioner Olson. He's willing to take on HR as a portfolio, and I'm willing to do that. I got off pretty easy this last year. I just had salary. Emergency Manager and 911. That was Commissioner Pelton and Commissioner Marsh. And Commissioner Olson agreed to take that spot, and Commissioner Pelton. The PIO, Commissioner Beener held that. I'm willing to take that on as, I guess, chairman, unless somebody really wants it. It's a lot easier having Loanne here now too to help with that. So. Extension Office, Commissioner Olson and Commissioner Kleeman, if he's willing to stay with the extension. Okay. Veteran Service Officer, Commissioner Pelton has had that. He's willing to stay with that portfolio. Tax Director portfolio, Commissioner Kleeman and Commissioner Heiser. Would you be willing to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Building and Grounds, that would be kind of overseeing Will's department or portfolio holder for Will Albrecht. And let's see. Building and Grounds, Commissioner Heiser, would you be all right with that?
Sure.
And Commissioner Kleeman? Okay. Housing Authority, we're going to leave that for right now. Park Board, Commissioner Kleeman and Commissioner Heiser. Vision West Committee, or the board, I'm on that. I'm willing to stay. I'm vice chairman now of that board. Roosevelt Cluster, Commissioner Kleeman, when we visited, you said you would be interested in maybe giving that up. Or
yes, I would, because they do too much of it
online.
And it's down New England, and
okay.
I haven't been getting to the meetings.
Anyone you want to jump on that? Roosevelt Custer, Regional Council. Now we can look at that at the next meeting. That's all right. Why don't we do that then? Okay, the Fair Board, I'm on that portfolio. In the food pantry, I have that portfolio. So Water Resource Board was Commissioner Beener and Marsh. So we need 2 commissioners on that board. I am wondering what your wishes are, who would like to be on that. But I was trying to balance out so we all kind of have the same number of portfolios. I wrote it.
On that one.
Huh? Would you?
I can go on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go on that one too.
Okay. Commissioner Kleeman and Commissioner Olson on Water Resources. Perfect. Thank you. And communications, I talked with Commissioner Olson and myself. If I'm the PIO, I think it just kind of ties in. It also kind of ties in with HR a little bit, so I'm willing to serve on communications with Commissioner Olson. Did we forget anything? It's a lot. Oh, JDA. Okay, so JDA board, Commissioner Clayman, I visited with him. He said he'd be willing to sit on that board. And Commissioner Olson. I know Commissioner Olson did indicate to the housing board, so not that they're the same, but it's all kind of that same, you know, economic and development and growth. So, but we'll finish out the housing and we'll finish out the Roosevelt Custer at the next meeting.
I could take Roosevelt Custer.
Would you?
Yeah, if it's in New England, I mean, it's,
yeah,
I'm on that side of the county anyway.
Perfect. It's kind of what I was thinking and talking with Bob, so.
That's fine. You're
I
welcome.
didn't want to just dump it on you without you talking. Okay.
We're good.
Okay, Al, got it, thanks. So then on the JDA appointments, there's some openings, not openings, you have the names of the new ones?
3 of them.
There's just 3 appointments. Okay, the 3 terms that are up are Linda Kittleson, Sandy Rohde, and Joel Spethman. Joel represents the large city, Linda, the Kildare Area Development Corporation, and Sandy is the general public representative.
You got Kelly.
And Kelly, yeah, further down, representing the schools and airport. So those would be reappointments as well. So we should probably do that JDA separate as a reappointing those 4 individuals.
I'd move that we appoint the 4, Joel Spethman, Linda Kittleson, Sandy Rodeo, and Kelly Schomeyer to the JDA board.
Is there a second?
For another term.
No second.
Second by Commissioner Clayman. Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Then I guess the next thing would be a motion to approve the portfolio assignments as we went through and discussed.
I'll move to approve the portfolio assignments as discussed.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the portfolio assignments as we went through. Any further discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Thanks, everybody. That was a lot of stuff to go through. And got the bills here to pay. Sally did send them out. Was it yesterday or yesterday?
I'd like to thank Sally for doing that. It's kind of nice where we can kind of take a look at them ahead of time. And got any questions, we can sure get them answered from the department heads. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get this. What's that? She added. Oh, the yellow ones are added after the list was sent out.
Sorry, Tracy's. Must have go.
I even drove special back here to do it yesterday.
City Air Bill.
So Daryl, do you know, is A&A sanitation for the park board, is that cleaning out the fish tank or more than likely? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I did see.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay.
They host.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the bills as presented.
Motion to approve the bills as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Olson. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman.
Yeah.
Commissioner Dahl.
Yes. Motion carries. Else.
You have something?
Well, I was gonna say, like, Mr. Cattermas is here for that agreement we got in the mail
Oh.
last night, email last night.
I visited with him earlier. We can do that next meeting. Okay.
My question is, did the state's attorney review that contract? That's pretty lengthy.
No, not yet. That's,
Okay.
we'll do it next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Gary, did you have anything?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay.
Looks like we're moving into next year.
Okay. And lunch.
And lunch, yeah, I don't want to hold that up.
Madam Chairman, we've got this deal with the basis and with, with this, who's just here?
Berwick.
I guess I'd like to have, stress that Mr. Sundin be here next meeting so we can discuss these two, figure out how to get them straightened out. And I don't know about the Bang one. I really don't know anything about that, but the base one and this one with Berwick, I'd like to get them hands clean. Thank you.
That's good.
Motion to adjourn.
The motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Olson. Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. We beat the rule.